Check this out. Back up, and... These American autocannons are pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. Although they've got some downsides. If you're half decent, it's not that big of a deal. So let's compare it to the TVP and the Tessac, because I really don't know what else to compare it to. I mean, these two are big bursty tanks, and so is the Ares. I'm starting with the tier 10. I'll do the tier 11 later. Mainly because normally I would free XP straight to the tier 11, but I mean, let's be real. Tier 11 is just tier 10 and a half, so the tier 10 is good enough, right? The DPM, don't worry about this number. Tanks GG does not take into account overheating. So if you want the real DPM of the tier 10 Ares 90, if you do not overheat, which means you fired 9 shots, it's 4,634, which is insane. Now, of course, when you go deeper into the mag, you become less accurate. But if you're in a brawl, right, and you're close range, wow, this thing shreds people. Do not ever overheat, because if you do, your DPM goes to 2,800, which is still good, but it's quite a drop. If you're wondering the math here, the intraclip is 0.3 seconds, 9 minus 1 because you fired 9 shots, and minus 1 because, of course, you don't intraclip the first round. So it's actually 8 intraclip reloads, followed by the cooldown time, which, admittedly, it's not super accurate. It's 11 seconds. I couldn't find the exact value, so I just measured it. Right? The footage you're looking at right now is literally me in a pub just blasting away and then measuring how long it takes to cool down. And so it's more or less accurate. A few decimal places isn't going to change this DPM that much. So it's 4,600 roughly. And check this out. So if you overheat, you get to fire 1 extra round, but your cooldown goes from 11 seconds to around 21 and a half. So pretty much never, ever overheat. Like, I'm trying to think, unless it's like a one shot and you really want to secure the kill, there's pretty much no reason, because you just lock yourself out. Whereas this, it cools down faster and you can still shoot. You're not locked out for this 11-second remainder. So, yeah, just don't overheat. Here are the clip potentials. With AP and APCR, if you don't overheat, it's 1035. If you do overheat, 1150. Now, here's where it becomes really cool. The HE, if you don't overheat, 1980. If you do overheat, 2200. The thing is, though, most tanks that you can pen with HE are either light tanks or tank destroyers, and they all have less than 2,000 health. You can straight up just one-clip a light tank or a lightly armored tank destroyer, assuming you pen every shot, and you don't even have to overheat your gun, so that's pretty insane. The penetration is 220, which is better than the Tessac, but the Tessac is absolutely terrible, but worse than the TVP, although the TVP fires APCR, so this is more like 230 AP. But still, 220 AP at tier 10, not very good. It's going to be pretty difficult to pen things with it. And interestingly, the APCR, it's not that much better. 238. And you lose out on the normalization that you get with AP. You know what this means? This actually means that the APCR is worse than the AP at angles 60 degrees and higher. And I mean, that's not too bad. To be fair, like auto ricochet angle is 70 degrees. So that's only a 10-degree margin where it's actually worse. But check this out. Look how funny this is. See the lower plate of the E50M? See how it's like kind of yellow and orange? Watch what happens when I load the gold. It actually got worse. However, this is at a steep angle. If you look at the side of the turret, the AP is worse than the APCR, right? So check this out. Look at the side of the turret. It got better. But the lower plate got worse. So that's something to keep in mind. And if you're wondering, why is Tanks GG laggy and you got some weird artifacts going on? For some reason, Shadowplay won't record my screen if Chrome has GPU acceleration enabled. Which is bullshit, because I have a 5090, bro. That's not fair. And yes, I did actually get the 5090. And so my computer fan is going crazy right now because it's basically CPU rendering this. So let's just leave that. Okay. The damage is 115, which it's kind of strange. It's a 90 mil, but it does 115. Oh, okay, fine. Still a lot higher than the Tessac, but the Tessac has a lot higher rate of fire. To be honest, they're kind of similar, it's just that the Ares does it with less shots. And of course, still a lot more shots than the TVP. The HE is strange. It says 10 millimeters. It's not actually 10 millimeters. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I think it has to do with like some sort of HE overmatch or whatever. I think it's 40 millimeters. That's what some people are saying, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, don't worry about this 10 millimeters. You can still pen grill 15s and shit barns and whatnot. And even then, if you can't pen something, because this tank's pen is really low, you can sort of just splash it to death. Aim carefully and you'll do like 30, 40, sometimes 50 damage per shot. It depends on the target. You know, you're not going to do that to a mouse, but you know, other tanks that they don't have the strongest of armor, but you know, this tank's pen is so low you can't pen them, you could HE splash them to death. If we go down here, I personally spam APCR because it's the best in most circumstances and mainly the shell velocity, so it's very good at sniping light tanks. EBRs, they're really going to struggle against the Ares 90 because you can just pump out so many shots. It makes it quite effective against EBRs. Let's go down to the gun handling. The aim time, same as the Tessac. The accuracy, better than the Tessac, which is very nice because the Tessac can kind of be a bit, you know, derpy. The shells go wherever. But the gun handling is kind of the same as the TVP. It is a bit better, but kind of the same. And the TVP is not known for being very accurate or have very comfortable gun handling, unlike the Tessac. And it only has 9 degrees of gun depression, which is, it's better than the TVP, but again, it loses out to the Tessac. Aside from long-range sniping, the Tessac kind of beats it. Now we go to the mobility, it's the worst by far. 10 kilometers per hour slower than the TVP, and 15 kilometers per hour slower than the Tessac. The reverse speeds are kind of the same, because they're both mediums, 19, 20, still loses out to the Tessac. And even the power to weight is worse than the TVP and way worse than the Tessac. So, it's not looking too good. The health, it has the highest health out of all of these tanks, which is nice. And it actually gets higher camo than the TVP, which is very nice because one of the big annoyances with the TVP is its lack of camo, and strangely enough, it actually has better camo than the Tessac, and the same view range as the Tessac. Isn't that strange? So, when completely stationary, the Ares is a better light tank than the Tessac. Alrighty. One thing worthy of mentioning is that spamming gold is actually not that expensive. 1,600 credits. For example, if I load gold in the TVP and the Tessac doesn't have expensive gold, that is a substantial amount of more credits. And, of course, the alpha damage is very low. So you would say, chems, of course it's going to be, but does it actually end up being cheaper? Yes, because here's another tank with 115 alpha damage, T23E3. You load gold, 2,800 credits to do 115. Whereas the Ares only has to charge 1,600. That's kind of strange. Wargaming basically, they gave it kind of crappy gold rounds, but then they made them cheap. So they didn't even want this tank to be pay to win. They were straight up like, no, you're not getting good pen, no matter what you do. So let's go on to the armor, and let's make this quick before my CPU explodes. 265 on the turret. That means it's not actually that great. Against other Ares tanks, yes, it's good, and they're not going to pen you. However, if you're fighting basically anything, standard rounds, 260, okay, there we go. It's kind of a 50-50, especially some other tanks. Not every tank has 260 standard pen. Let's look at a heavy, 249. So it's kind of 50-50, especially if you do this. But the moment they load gold, they're just going to go right through you. So I wouldn't really rely on this armor unless, one, you're fighting other Ares tanks, and two, you're top tier and fighting tier 8s. In that case, you can really just poke out and blast people and they can't really do anything to you. And the upper plate has a bit of an auto ricochet angle, especially if you go up like that. So try to use that to your advantage when fighting other Ares tanks. The side armor, 63.5. Nothing can overmatch this, not even a shit barn. So you can actually side scrape in this, not necessarily to bounce a lot of shots, but kind of just to bait people into firing into your side and ricocheting. If people don't aim very well and they just snapshot your side, then you basically get to clip them out while they're reloading, so you can do that. Of course, you do have Wargaming's favorite corner plates, but yeah, we can't have it all. Now, for some reason, Wargaming gave this reserve tracks, and holy lag. Okay, CPU dead. Reserve tracks. So It's actually debatable if you want to use hardening on this or not. I personally used hardening because, you know, I'm a kind of a whore for hardening, but I'll just go through my equipment loadout right here. First, I put Bounty or Bond vert stabs. I actually just had this in the depot. I don't recall ever buying it, but it was there, so I put it on. And even if I didn't have it, right now they're doing the well-deserved reward. Out of all of them, there's Rammer and vert stabs. Those are your two picks. I have plenty of Bond Rammers, so I'll just take the free vert stabs. Next, you might be inclined to put Mobility Improvement System, right? To keep the dispersion after firing low so you can blast like max rate of fire. You don't actually have to do that. So the Ares is interesting. Dispersion after firing, it kind of doesn't have any until you get towards the end of your overheating. When you start to overheat, then your gun blooms out a lot, although I don't think that's dispersion factors. I think that's just raw dispersion. So, yeah, you don't actually have to run that. The reason I run vert stabs is literally just to get this down, just for like on the move firing, not necessarily for dispersion after firing. So yeah, you could just go with a regular old Bounty Turbo, and of course I went with Bounty Hardening. Now, you could go with full cope equipment because the accuracy is kind of just average, and you are fully aimed between every shot for, I would say, at least 60 or, oh god, 70% of the shots that you are firing before you start to overheat. So I guess if you're on like Malinovka, for example, or proc, your second loadout could be vents and where is it? Improved aiming with the aiming directive, polished lens. Food, where's food? There it is. BIA, 0.28. You're very accurate now. I don't know. I like having the top speed and mainly the reverse speed, and I like having the additional health. But considering this tank has reserve tracks, hardening is not so important because if you get tracked, you can still keep moving. You know, the track health is not such a big deal. I personally never use this equipment, but feel free to try it out. To be honest, I think I would take this on proc, not even just for the accuracy, but because I think with vents, recon, adrenaline rush, it's just enough to get you to max view range. So that could be useful. The field mods are kind of interesting. We got some whatever ones. This is, yeah, whatever. Aiming circle size. I would take the accuracy, to be honest, because the nerf to dispersion factors is barely noticeable. And hopefully maybe just that little bit of accuracy will help. To be honest, either of these are not noticeable, so it doesn't really matter. Top reverse speed or concealment. As much as I like reverse speed, the truth is you don't have enough armor. You kind of have to rely on camo. And if you take that reverse speed, you're going to nerf your camo a lot. So like there's 20, now it's 14. So honestly, your best bet is to just leave it in the middle unless you know what you're doing. Aiming circle size after firing. The gun doesn't really bloom in between every shot. So honestly, you could just take -5% to cooling speed because even going back and forth here, it's not affecting dispersion after firing down here. It could just be a tank's GG bug, but I don't know. Top speed or nerf to your view range. For me personally, I would take the top speed. I'm not really spotting for myself. However, I don't know if that's actually meta because nerfing your view range like this is not good when you want to play long range as a camouflage tank. But then again, 48 is very slow. You have to use a turbo. So basically, the field mods, you can just do this and not touch them. And your tank is good. You got okay camo, good view range, whatever. So, yeah, let's go on to the replays now. Ares 90 on Stud Zanki. So I'm going to go to the south, go in there, and get her going. But yeah, look at this thing. This gun looks a lot like the 75mm autocannon made by, funnily enough, a company called Ares. You've probably seen this gun before, if you're a history nerd, on tanks like the HS-TVL and the High Mag and some other stuff. A few other tanks had it. Yeah, it's a 75mm, not a 90mm. That 90mm part's kind of made up. And in real life, it fired APFSDS. But here it is in World of Tanks. Close enough. They called it Ares. The gun is made by Ares, so it'll do. Although, it's not a 90mm, but hey, check it out, a Tessac. Tessac can't really pen this thing when hull down. and you can certainly pen a Tessac. However, oh boy, it's a little hot over here, especially that IS-7. He's going to be hard to pen. And, oh, check that out. I actually tracked him there. This tank, unlike the Tessac, can actually crit. And this guy bounced a lot of his shots, and now he's reloading. IS-7 is not looking. I say reloading, he's cooling down. And oops, I accidentally overheated my gun, which is very bad, and yikes. I think I'm gonna have to kind of back up over here because I've overheated my gun, and there's a lot of people over here. But yeah, the safest way is to come in through that side, not straight ahead. You can get more cover coming in that way. Anyway, I really want to support my team, and I'm not actually angled the best right here, but I'm kind of preoccupied on taking these guys out, because, yeah, I got shot by a 114, but holy cow. I don't even care. I need to support my allies, because if they die too quickly, then I'm next. Right? And see, look, because I'm not overheating, I'm actually going to take out this leopard pretty quickly. So, keep that in mind. Never overheat. Here he is. He's firing HE, and stop right before I overheat. You can see it becomes yellow on the screen, and it has little, and look, I tracked him there. It has little, like, wings effect or whatever. Get it, Aries? Get it? But yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but we're already on 3,700 damage. And I overheated. Can you imagine if I didn't overheat? I might actually be on like 4,200 because I'd be able to get a few extra shots in. Maybe even more, but yeah, it would be very beneficial to leave now because I don't have the pen to go through these heavies. And what's down there is an IS-7, E5, and 277. All of those have more than enough pen to go through my turret. And maybe I can pen the 277, but they're all kind of tricky to pen, so you know what, just leave. And I actually get out pretty safely because their light tank is not over there. You know where he actually is? He's up on the hill. And so, of course, I get spotted and shot. That's just great, isn't it? Really? I'm getting shot over here. And already wants a piece of me. Not too good. Now I'm only on 500 health, but don't worry. This replay is very, very nice. Check this out, okay? Ping, ping. You see the dispersion after firing? There isn't really. It's just that when it overheats, it becomes inaccurate. So you don't need that special turbo that reduces dispersion. Like, the only reason you would use it is for dispersion after firing because its effect is so small. Otherwise, you won't really notice it, right? And of course, the pen isn't really that good. So, yeah, just let's see. Maybe lower plate. Imagine if I killed that guy. Keep that in mind for later. So, oh, look at that. 277. Let's just let rip, because he's probably going to pull back, and he does. So, let's see. Can we take out this 277? And he's just turned his side, and there we go. I tracked him again. And it's very nice. Unlike the Tessac, this thing can actually track people. I don't know if you've played the Tessac, but if you aim for people's tracks, you have to empty basically your entire mag to track someone. It's not the same with this tank. Very, very nice. So, let's see. I think he's still there. Oh, perfect. I actually got him there. So, I did about 700 blind to him. I don't know if you've noticed, but when he went unspotted, I think he was on 700 health, and I was able to finish him off there. So we have 700 blind right now. Basically, we're at 6,100 damage. Pretty good. And look at this. All that damage. And, oh. The reason I back up quickly is because I don't know if I'll actually get spotted firing, and they're still in 183. I'd rather not get one-shotted by a 183. So, the IS-7 survives. That's fine. However, this flank is kind of empty. I want to push up it, but I am alone. If the 114 SP2 comes over here, he can actually just kill me. So, alright, let's see if we can get any shots on people over here. Not quite. Let's keep moving up forward. Gotta be careful, and oh, look at that. We've got some people over here. Put some shots. You can see when I overheat, the enemy circle gets bigger, so let's let it cool down a little bit. Not that I can shoot anyway, but there we go. Now we're accurate. And Yeah. So, oh, there he is. Bruh. Are you kidding me? That's the second time I've been cheesed out of killing that IS-7. To be fair though, I was overheated, or almost overheated, so my dispersion was reduced a lot. Or I guess increased. I was less accurate. That's fine though, I'm basically the only person here, and everything has been spotted. Did you notice that? You should always keep that in mind, or keep checking. And here we go. You can see, you don't have to really aim in between shots. It's just the overheating that makes you less accurate. However, it takes quite a while for it to cool down when you're unloading. So you can burst like the first 3 and be perfectly accurate. After that, you start to drop in your accuracy. You're accurate for around 60% of your shots. Now, you could just blaze away. After the first 3, it still blooms. It's just not as much. Once you get to around 60% and higher, you're so inaccurate it's not even worth it. Anyway, look at this. We're just farming these people up because even though this tank is kind of like, I guess you could say kind of a gimmick with its autocannon, it still has a lot of DPM. And here we go. Perfect. We haven't overheated just yet, and that means, look, by the time the 705 pokes, we'll actually be fully cooled down. Or almost fully cooled down. If I had overheated, I'd still be waiting. So, never overheat. 8,000 that we've seen, right? Boom, boom, boom. We just keep racking on the damage. Remember, we have 700 blinds, so I'm on 9,000 damage right now. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm on a Top Gun. We're not done here just yet, okay? Let's keep her going. I got spotted. The Crocodrillo or the Artie. The Crocodrillo can't one-shot me unless he high rolls. He could, so you gotta be careful. And oh, there we go. 8,900. Where's the Crocodrillo? Building in the way, just shoot it down. Come on. Perfect. So, that was 8 kills. And if I actually penned the E5, that would have been 9 kills. And you know what? If I didn't overheat in the middle, I might have killed somebody else. Could have been 10 kills, but could have, should have, whatever. 9,002 or 9,100 that we've seen, plus 700, 9,800. I'm just going to round that up to 10,000, and then I'm going to put 10K in the thumbnail to clickbait you guys. Is that okay? Yeah, look, I already got the 5090, but look, I clickbait for the love of the game. Anyway, 9,800, 10,000, I don't care, whatever, close enough. Let's move on to the next replay. The Ares on Mannerheim line. So, I'm not really too inclined to go to the heavy flank, even though that's where all the HP is. One, I don't really have armor, especially against top tier heavies, firing gold. And two, even if I did, I can't really pen them. Like an IS-7 can be pretty easily penned with most gold rounds. Not this tank. This tank cannot pen an IS-7 frontally. And maybe I could pen a Mivi and a T110E5, but still, those tanks are quite snappy. They're hull down. They've got 340 heat with the E5. It's just not, it's not a good combo. So I come over here, 907. 907 is also hard to pen, but if we just start blasting away, a few of them will pen, right? And, you know, listen up, right? You hear that? See that 50B? Minus 2,000? Yeah, that's what happens when you're big and have no camo. Anyway, this guy has decided to go right in, so I start bursting, but then, you know, I gotta hold it off a bit. Check this out. I actually overheated there because I'm gonna run. It looks like we're gonna get overrun, but then I have a good long look. You can see now that everything's in frame, I'm thinking, actually, we've got enough people here to hold this. I don't have to run. So, by the time I come back, I'm no longer overheated. So, let's see. Do we have any shots on these people? E5 actually came over here. That's literally the person I was trying to avoid, but he came over here for whatever reason. So, I could try and snipe an E5 Cupola. It's actually kind of like a 50-50 to pen it. And he can just pen me no matter what. And actually, look at our team. They're all leaving. And so, I'm going to leave as well. And I tell this 430U, back up. Let's get out of here, dude. Look at the mini-map for 3 seconds. Your team are abandoning you, and so instead of bitching and whining about being abandoned, just turn around and leave with them. Yeah, isn't that crazy? But yeah, I just want to highlight just how shit the 50B is. Like, the moment you get spotted in a 50B, 1, you have no camo, so you always get spotted. 2, you have no armor, and 3, you're enormous. You're just a big XP pinata. But anyway, look, I'm in kind of a hull down here, and they can't really spot me because this tank does have some good camo. So let's start shooting at this guy. There we go. 1, 2. You can see the gun doesn't actually bloom that much after firing. It's only the overheating that causes it to bloom. So, like I said, I would like to reiterate, do not use experimental turbo. It's really gonna provide no use. I know I'm gonna see some replay somewhere where someone's using it thinking, dispersion, that's important for an autocannon. It is for the Tessac. It's not really for this. In fact, you could make the argument that improved aiming is actually way more effective than any of these equipments because it's not the dispersion after firing that makes you inaccurate. It's just the raw dispersion, like being artificially pushed up from the overheating mechanic. So you know what? I might try playing with the cope equipment vents and improved aiming. The thing is, though, the reason I'm able to get this video out so quickly is because I literally played all these replays in one sitting, 3 hours. That's right. In 3 hours, I got a whole bunch of replays. One of them includes a 10K. And so, take that, Quickie Baby and skill. For the first time, I'm not on the back foot. For the first time, I can upload something before they do. Isn't that crazy? It would take Quickie Baby, like, 6 months to get a 10K in any tank. And maybe 6 years in this tank, but it's okay, it's okay. Look, man, we all like Quickie Baby around here, don't we? I know people love to shit on Quickie Baby like he's shit, he's whatever, he's horrible, he's mean, he's arrogant. Relax, guys. Yeah, he's a bit washed. Come on, so what? He's like, isn't he pushing like 40s? I don't know. Maybe he's like 30, actually. He's probably in his mid-30s or something. Give the guy a break, bro. He's been here since the beginning. He's kind of like the face of Watt. And, you know, back in like 2015, 16, 17, he was actually quite good. And let's be real here, guys. We all learned watching him, okay? Let's give the devil his due for crying out loud. Sure, maybe he's not, like, amazing nowadays, but look, man, he's not skilled for LTU. I wish this, like, skill for LT, or this hatred for Quickie Baby was actually targeted to skill for LTU. Like that fucking loser, Honest Gaming, he made a video on Quickie Baby when he should have made a video on skill. I don't know, man. As soon as it becomes like the new thing to shit on Quickie Baby, everybody jumps on it. Anyway, I've loaded HE. Check this out. Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. What do you guys think of that? So yeah. Interestingly, it showed orange. Like, the game literally thinks that this is a 10mm round. It showed orange on a Grill 15. Yet every shot I fired penned. So, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah. Thinking about it, the Ares is probably not the best for, like, average players because its armor isn't good enough and its penetration is very low. So you really have to be careful with your positioning and aiming. But still, it is kind of cheap to play if you just fire standard. And standard is, you know, it's so close to the gold, who cares, right? Anyway, this guy's back here. Kill him. Where's your buddy, the Ares? Looks like he left and, of course, gets sniped by some guy. And where is it? Oh, he's right here. So, it looked like he just overheated there. I didn't overheat. I made sure not to. And look at that reserve track kicking in. It's not really that useful right now, but let's cool down. And the grill is jumping on him, distracting him. Let's go in. Right click, bang, bang, bang. Boom. 5,700 damage. So yeah, the biggest downside of this tank for sure is the penetration. You're gonna struggle a lot. If you think you can just play this like a medium and go to your average hull down and it'll work out, it won't, okay? You're not penning tanks in the turret for sure. You're not penning a lot of mediums in the hull. So you gotta play this like a very, very supportish medium, I guess you could say. Basically, pretend you're a 50B, except you actually do have some armor, and you have some camo, and you're actually fun to play. And you're not enormous. God, the 50B sucks. Alright, let's move on to the next replay. Ares on Lakeville. So... Oh, I briefly mentioned this earlier, but I guess I should mention it again. I have a 5090 now. Isn't that cool? Which means instead of getting like 100 FPS or even lower, I'm getting 300 now. So that's good. Yeah. It's not even just for personal preference. It's for one, I'm making a game, so I'm gonna need more than just a gaming GPU. And two, you guys saw in some of the replays, I dipped below 60 FPS, making the video kind of choppy. So, now you guys get smooth 60 FPS all the time. And, hey, if YouTube allowed for 144 or at 120 FPS videos, I would just upload in 120 FPS. Maybe that'll be soon, but... So, I bring the Ares here. I have to fight an E100, an E5, and an IS-7. Why? What? Can't you fuckers go to the city? You're heavy tanks. Like, an E100, you should go to the city, bro. What's the matter with you? An IS-7, you don't have gun depression to use this. So only the E5 can be here, really. Anyway, this is a lot of cope. The best way to play the Ares is just to not take damage for, like... You see, I don't even bother to keep going because there's an FE 4005. What I was trying to articulate is, don't take risky peeks like that. I didn't even realize he had a shot there, but look at this. Side of the turret, I only penned one. Are you kidding me? So, that's... A lot of people are going to say this tank shit. Even... I bet you good players are going to call this tank shit. Like, they call the Tessac shit. Hypothetical good players. What, because you're teal, you think you're good now? Buddy, calm down. A good player can make pretty much almost any tank work. Unless it's the BZT-70, in which case nobody can make that tank work. You know what's funny? I shitted on that tank so hard. I got it on my main account. After the buffs. To be fair, it was after the buffs. Okay, give me a break. And then the first game I played in, I did like 8K. Blocked like 5K. I think Top Gun or something. Maybe I'll make a video on that, but... You don't understand, okay? I'm not just a retard. The BZT was really fucking bad before the buffs, okay? But anyway, the point is, if a supposed good player calls this tank or the Tessac shit, it's actually kind of a self-report, because it basically means if it's not a hull-down monster, they can't make it work. Like, anybody can abuse some hull-down tank and get high scores after high score and get a good stats that way. That doesn't make you a good player. That makes you good at doing one thing, going hull down. And I am kind of stroking my own dick here, but is it really that crazy to say if a player can make any tank work, then the player's good? Is that really that egotistical to say? Anyway, the point being, you can see I'm not taking risky pokes. I'm actually just taking very opportunistic shots, and this E5 is very... Yeah, I accidentally overheated there. This E5 is very insistent on poking me, and I've actually chipped away about 1,000 of his health. So, instead of poking that corner and bouncing all of my shots and then getting hit by a shit barn, which we both know that's what's gonna happen, I'm playing a little more strategically here and trying to put in shots where I can. Hitting weak spots with this tank is not so annoying because... How can I say? A lot of times when people are wiggling, you click and then you miss. However, with this, you have a lot of shots, so at least one of them's gonna hit, right? Anyway, it looks like they've backed off. I've chipped away enough of this E5's health so that he's gonna die soon, and he's still, like, insists on poking. Let's see. He's backed off now. So, if this E5 or IS-7 want to YOLO in, be my guest, you can eat the FV. I know the FV was spotted on the road there, but... Shit, man, I don't know. He could have turned around. So, these guys are gonna go in. Alright. This IS-7 is about to cross. Let's see. Can I pen an IS-7 shooting down at his upper plate? Yes, I kind of can. Now, I do have every crew skill that you can have on a crew. Like, this is a max out crew. And look at that, I tracked him there. That's quite nice. So I did take Armorer and the other one. I forget what it is. But basically, it's not even to reduce RNG on my damage and increase my alpha damage. It's actually for the penetration, because 220 or 238, it can work. It's just that it's very easy to low roll your pen and then start bouncing a lot of shots. So hopefully those crew skills will reduce the chance that I low roll pen. Anyway, I don't want to cross because the ship barn could be aiming. So yeah, I'll just use this IS-4 as a human shield. There we go. Ship barn's not here? Okay, I have HE loaded, by the way, and... Oh, okay. Take a direct hit from Artie. It's fine. And, oh, look at that. The ship barn's there. Oh, let me shoot the ship barn. Get out the way, Artie. Come on, come on, come on. Fucking 1,000 damage already. And he's dead. So I didn't get to clip him for all of his health, but just like that, that was 1,000 damage, dude. That was pretty quick. Holy cow. Anyway, there's a Grill 15 there. And I only have 7 HE left, so I actually load more HE after this. You could tell from the first game, I did 10k and I wasn't running out of ammo, so you can afford to take a little more HE rounds. Anyway, look at that. I actually ran out of HE. Interestingly, intuition is like 2.5 seconds. But if you run out of ammo, you have to fully reload. So I guess the best move is to just have one shell left and an intuition switch. Also, there's a replay bug. Now it shows 0. But yeah, just take more HE. I think like 30, maybe even 40. And we're on 5,100. There's still 3 people left. So let's see if we could get some more damage. 2 people are capping, which is just obnoxious. Why are you capping, guys? Like, there's 3 mediums here for free. IS-4 actually says capping for pressure. Pressure? What do you mean pressure, dude? They're losing horrifically. I don't think they're gonna come back to their base anytime soon. That's why I'm barging in, like, carelessly, because I think they've moved up. And you can see I can't pen his front there. I actually have to pen his side. And so I take a shot in return. I kill him, and you hear that? Ouch, 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 ouch. 600. He's kind of far away and dug in. I don't have a shot on either of these guys. How obnoxious, eh? I'm in between both of them, so I won't get any damage. And check out this leopard. Hello? Wow. That is the most paid actor of paid actors I've ever seen, dude. Anyway, let's see. Maybe I can get some damage on this Ares. Now, because this is an autocannon, you can use it to destroy buildings, right? Come on. And, okay. I only got 1 extra shell, a little bit of assist. Oh, well. Still, though, 5,000 damage, 3 kills. I showed you this replay mainly for the 2 HE clips I got off. So, the point of this replay is that, 1, when you're at, like, E1, for example, don't feel so inclined to aggressively poke, okay? You don't have the armor. You're not a trading tank. So, just be careful. And 2, don't be afraid to take HE in this tank. Intuition time is very quick, and the HE is extremely powerful. Anyway, let's move on to the next replay. Alright, we're on Tundra, so obviously I'm going to go right in to the other side of the map, because the 1-9 is kind of a frontal heavy fight. This tank isn't going to pen anything like that, so hopefully I can make it on top of the hill and snipe, because this tank's not terrible at sniping. The dispersion after firing is basically non-existent, so as long as you have somewhat decent accuracy with like cola and maybe even cope equipment, you can get a lot of shots in. Anyway, grill. There we go, there's 1. And I'm actually gonna HE, I have HE loaded, so I'm gonna HE splash this person. I HE splashed the Ares for 200. I think it was like 3 or 4 shots, but still, that's not too bad. And here he is again, and watch. So, the HE splashing potential of this tank is not too bad. Anyway, the grill died. Let's see here, an E3. I don't know if I want to poke that. He's got a lot of armor and FV. I wonder if he's staring at me. He is staring at me. Back up. Check out the reserve track. I can keep moving. Now, of course, when you are tracked, but you're using your reserve track, if you keep driving, it makes it take longer to repair, but whatever, who cares, right? For some reason, those heavies have gone the low side, which is just... like, when has that ever worked? Anyway, this tank has somewhat decent camo, so am I gonna start blasting? No. Oh, there's a side. Bang, 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 bang. And I overheated because there's actually no other opportunity to get any damage here, so it didn't matter if I overheated, right? So, let's come back to this position. It looks like the enemies are actually moving up, so hopefully I can get a clip off on someone. Let's see. There's an E3. I'm not really gonna pen him. And so, I move up here. This BZ's coming in. Let's see. Can me and this other Ares actually take this guy out? He's backing up, and oh, they're coming in. Okay, well, let's see. If he moves up, I can track him. And I overheated. It's time to get the hell out of here. I take a shot. It breaks my track. I immediately repair it because although I have reserve tracks, it does reduce your speed a little bit. And so I want to get out of here as fast as possible. We're not really going to win this side, but if you look in the middle, we've actually kind of, like, won it, sort of. So, this is an interesting replay. When you lose the hill, try to make your way around here. Maybe not here, but kind of here. It's kind of the only way to do it. Now, don't push up too high or else you get shot by the hill. You'll see I always have a firm eye on the hill when I'm over here, but... coming over here is an option. It's not always the best option, but in this circumstance, it is. So, this E4, he's given his side. Let's see. Come on. Only got one shot off. You can see they almost have a shot, almost don't. The Type 71's gonna go in, finish that guy off, and let's move up. Let's see. Where is the 183? He's probably still at that corner. So, it's best not to just push him blindly. And would you look at that? An FV. Let's load HE. Now you gotta get used to the HE in this tank. It has quite slow shell velocity. So you'll see, watch this. First few hit, but then I miss. It's fine though. Take him out. Switch back to the APCR. Wait for my sixth sense or wait for my spotting to go off, to get unlit. And then I look over there. There's not much HP over there. So okay, let's focus on the hill. How do I approach this side without getting one-shotted by the FV? I come up over here, hoping that he's not looking this way, and I don't think he is, because he might be aiming at this over here. Anyway, look at this. There's a slope over here, and look at this perfect hull down, okay? The turret armor is not that great, but it is kind of a small target, so it's still worth going hull down. Anyway, no one's over there, and so where's the 140? Is he here? And oh, okay, he's actually over there, and destroyed. Perfect. Cool down a little bit. I'm actually just gonna move in now because if I take a shot from the E3, it doesn't matter. Who cares, right? Now, I could go this way, but I would be in a crossfire, so I'm actually just elected to go frontally towards the FV because we have a 907 here, and so he should distract him. I zoom out, he's actually not even looking this way. Interesting. And I take him out. We're already on 4 kills. This tank is pretty good, and this gun sound is amazing. It sounds badass. That is so satisfying. But yeah, when it's like not a hull down fight, this tank is pretty good. Here, you'll hear it again. You zoom out, listen. Pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, 5 kills, 4,700 damage. The point of this replay was I come up here, we lose it. A lot of people would just sit here and camp the whole game, but one solution is to actually go around this way, assuming your team have not utterly lost this entire side of the map. So that's a little bit of good advice for you guys. Anyway, let's move on to the next replay. The last one, it's kind of a shorter game, but it had some pretty funny moments. So, Fisherman's Bay, yuck. It's fine though. This replay is not a camp off, as is many cases on Fisherman's Bay. The reason I don't block this map is, although it's kind of obnoxious to play, you do get decent close games, right? So it remains unblocked. The 1 out of 100 games that are close, a lot of the time are on this map. So I get invited to a platoon. I thought, you know what, sure, why not? Maybe we can get a funny platoon off, right? And oh, look at that. I missed all those shots because I wasn't fully aimed. But, oh, okay, Camo Paneer, sideways. You want to sit sideways? Alright. Nice 340 damage right off the rip. Kind of like what a average tier 10 medium would do. Low roll, even. But, it's okay. We can just sit here. We didn't take any return damage, that's the key. Got some early damage off, and this guy just, he's gonna continue to side scrape that. Okay. So, what to do? As is the case with Fisherman's Bay, you kind of just have to sit and wait. Now, there's an E5 that moved up there. My platoon mate friend here put a nice little burst into him for about 600 damage. And so I think, okay, let's see. He's an E5. He doesn't have camo, right? And, oh, 60 TP. What are the chances that we catch him off guard again? Because he thinks he can play over there, but he can't because he's a heavy. So, let's be patient. If that E5 gets spotted, me and this other Ares friend will be ready to capitalize on it. Yeah, this is foreshadowing, okay? Let's see. We're waiting, and... oh. Let's see. Back up. Back up, and... oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, that guy got melted from just 2 Ares. Now imagine if it was 3. Yeah. I think the next video, I don't know how long it's going to take to make. I say in chat, look, want to do that again to the Ares? The enemy Ares, that is. I need to get a platoon of 3 of these and farm up some funny replays. Now, if you look in the chat, it looks like this guy had a platoon mate and he went into the game without him. Fake friend. And this SPK guy, he's in the Boxin clan, which is the Ayuxin clan. Ugh, yikes. But he was a good friend this match, so I'll let it slide. I'm such a piece of shit. I'm such a fat fucking chud. Now, Fisherman's Bay. There isn't really much to do. We've kind of won the 1 line, which means you can move up. Generally, as a rule of thumb, if you have won this side of the map, you can push up to here because nothing's going to shoot you, and then you can kind of get shots on the heavies and even take out these guys over here. So, that's what I'm going to do. That Camo Paneer fired, and so he's pulled back, he's not looking. I come over here, and let's see. Do I even want to shoot the Dravik, bro? He's 47 HP. I don't care about him. Let's see. Is there anybody over here? No. Alright. Let's see. All we have to do is wait for this guy. There we go. Put 2 shots just like that, 230, and now he's gonna try and side scrape me. Okay. Let's see. And actually took his track off there. The gun is heated, so I'm not accurate, and he's aiming at me. So you know what? I'm not even gonna keep firing. I'm just gonna back up, cool down, don't take any return damage. Need to save my HP because, I don't know, we could lose this. It looks like we're gonna lose the city. They got more forces than we do, so gotta keep my HP for that, right? So, yeah. Guys, what do you think? 3-man Ares platoon. Or even maybe a 3-man Ares 90C, the tier 11. I have not played it yet. Because, like I said earlier, normally I would just free XP to the tier 11, but I figured actually the tier 10 is probably just as good as the tier 11, because that's kind of the theme, right? So I'll play the tier 10. I'll grind it out. Why not? With all my XP boosters in ×5, in like 3 hours, I already got halfway. So maybe I'll free XP the rest of it since I've already got all the replays I want for a video, but yeah, 3-man platoon Ares. Take it to the heavy flank. Jump someone. Oh, that's pretty insane. So, looking at the city, you notice how all of our allies are clumped into one spot. So if, like, just looking at the map, if I can go like this, over here, or wherever, Doesn't that just mean I get free flanking shots? That's what I think. So at first I come over here thinking, if they push in, I'll be able to clip them out. However, let me zoom in. Full health, can opener, and I'm admittedly half health, but it's still a mouse. Kind of a tough nut to crack. I don't think they're going to be pushing up anytime soon. And as you can see, look, they're side scraping and all that. I'm not going to pen these guys. I'm actually just better off stop wasting time. And I just move in. This tank is very similar to like the shit pack in that for the majority of the game, you barely do any damage. But towards the end of the game is where you get all your damage. Now, because this tank actually does have side armor, I'm going to reverse out and side scrape and there we go. Killed one. Next. Aim a little bit. Killed two. Next. Anybody else? Okay, they've backed up. Move up. Not gonna lie, that was pretty cool picking up 2 kills just like that, but yeah, look at the score. We are ahead substantially. I'm not gonna lose this. Time to use that HP that I saved up to get some more damage. 60 TP. Puts a shot into me. I don't really care. I mean, that's the whole point of saving my HP is to use it now. And, oh, that guy died, and there we go. There we go. I actually critted him. Don't know what it critted, but killed that guy. Didn't overheat. Just like that, we've doubled our damage from literally 30 seconds ago. I've doubled it, and I honestly thought I would have killed that guy, but the freaking pillar got in the way. Anyway, there's still an E100 on the prow. Where is he? Oh. God damn it. I really should not have taken a second shot from that 60. And to be honest, I wouldn't have shown you this replay if it wasn't for how hilarious that clip on the E5 was. And so, yeah, I just left. The reason I'm showing you this is to kind of hype you up for the next video. Well, the next video will probably be the tier 11, but then the video after that, it's probably a 3-man funny moments platoon. What do you guys think? Yeah, definitely gonna do that. So, stay tuned for that. But yeah, wow. Haven't made a video for like 2 weeks now. What's changed? I have a 5090 now with a 9950 X3D. Yep, pretty cool. Oh, I actually returned my fancy mic. I bet you didn't even notice the audio quality changed, right? The reason is not even because it was barely an upgrade, but it would actually just bug out and it would corrupt my whole audio. You saw that in one of the videos I made a while back in January. It said, sorry for the broken audio, it fixes. It actually just craps out randomly, but anyway. Returned it back to headset mic. Sounds just as good, somehow. Anyway, I hope this video was enjoyable for you guys, and thanks for watching.